Good morning, Mam Santi Mursyanti, as the Dean of Biotechnology. Selamat pagi, Ibu.
Good morning all. Selamat pagi Pak Andri.
Semangat sehat, Ibu.
Semangat, sehat. How many participants? 177.
Okay, can we start now, Mam Gigi? Hello, Mam Gigi. Can we start now?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay. Okay, good morning, selamat pagi, magandang umaga for all participants here and all for special guests here. Today is a great day for us because this is the first collaboration between St. Louis University and Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, Indonesia. And this is the first international webinar collaboration series between the Faculty of Biotechnology, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, and the Faculty of Natural Sciences, St. Louis University of Baguio, Philippines. And thanks God that we still safe, still healthy, and we can doing the great event for today. And selamat pagi buat semuanya. I will talk in bilingual Indonesia and Philippine. Magandang umaga for all the participant in St. Louis University family, and also selamat pagi untuk semuanya di Indonesia, terutama Yogyakarta, untuk komunitas Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Thank you. You can join for the first international webinar collaboration series today. And then terima kasih and thank you for all the attendees and also the panelists and participants. You can join and you can also see from the live streaming on YouTube is already live now. So you can learn and sharing together between Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta and St. Louis University. And thank you for registration also for the attendee and participant also. And welcome for the first international webinar collaboration series, Traditional Medicine During COVID-19 Pandemic, the collaboration between Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta and St. Louis University of Baguio, Philippines. And the first seminar series here today is the Ethnomedicine and Environmental Health in COVID-19 Pandemic. And today, the July 16, 2020, is the first series. We'll be continuing for the second series and also the third series for us. So just don't miss it for that our series. And my name is Heribertus Andre Puranugraha as the head of Partnership and Promotion, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Thank you for this opportunity. And honorable for me to greet having a greeting for all the attendees here and also special panelists here, especially for the president of St. Louis University, Father Gilbert B. Sales, CICM. Good morning, Father. And also the Dean of School of Natural Sciences of St. Louis University, Ma'am Ann P. Opina, Registered Medical Technologies and Master of Management in Health Services Management. Magandang umaga po. And also, especially for Director of Office External Relation, Media and Communication and Alumni Affairs, Ma'am Gigi, Ma'am Mary Grace Carido Baywong. Hello, Ma'am Gigi. Are you there? Magandang umaga, Ma'am Gigi.
Good morning, good morning.
Yes. And special also, the Rector of Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, Professor Insinyur Yoyong Arfiadi, Master of Science and PhD, and also the Vice Rector for the Alumni, Students, and Partnership Promotion Office Affairs, Mr. Pupung Arifin, Master of Science. Good morning. Selamat pagi, Pak Yoyong, Prof. Yoyong, and Pak Pupung.
Selamat pagi. Good morning, everyone.
Okay, and also the great, actually this is the great host for today from the Faculty of Technobiology, the Dean of Faculty of Technobiology, Dr. Exius Prancia Mursyanti, Master of Science. Good morning, ma'am. Okay, and today we will be having a great speakers from the great university, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta and St. Louis University. There will be 4 speakers today. The first one is the Bu Ines Septi Arsinitias, PhD. She is the Vice Dean for Students, Alumni, and Partnership and Promotion Affairs of Faculty of Technobiology. Good morning, ma'am. Okay, and the second speaker is the Ma'am Rachel C. Barcelo, PhD, Associate Dean for School of Natural Sciences of St. Louis University of Baguio also. The third speaker is Ma'am Eva Marie B. Pascual, Register of Pharmacy and Master of Science in Pharmacies, the faculty member of School of Natural Sciences of St. Louis University of Baguio. And the last but not least, Ma'am Marie Lucy Fiangaan, Registered Pharmacist and Master of Science in Pharmacy, the faculty member too of School of Natural Science of St. Louis University. We cannot wait for the great learning and great inspiration for all the great speakers here. And for the webinar series today, will be guided and led by the 2 great moderators. The first one is Ma'am Leonie Margareta Widya Pangestika, STP and Master of Science, the faculty member of Faculty of Technobiology of Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, and also from the Faculty of School of Natural Sciences of SLU, Sir John Kelvin Z. De Jesus, Register of Pharmacy. We can see from the great, all the panelists, all the speakers, and all the moderators. Okay. For beginning the first international webinars collaboration series today, I think it's good one for all of us here for getting a prayer. So for the opening prayer will be led and guided by Sir John Kelvin de Jesus, Register of Pharmacy. Okay, Sir John, the turn is yours.
Dear Almighty Father and ever-living God, we thank you for the opportunity to gather us here today to celebrate the gifts of wisdom. We come to you today asking for your guidance and support as we go along this meaningful webinar. May you guide and extend your divine wisdom to our speakers and facilitators so that they may effectively impart and share most of their knowledge and insights to their respective topics. Bless the participants as well so that they will be able to glean the vital information from this gathering. We also thank you, Heavenly Father, for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us, even during these trying times of pandemic. We also ask for your protection against the COVID-19. Continue to guide our fellow researchers and medical experts so that they may administer with love, compassion, and competence to those afflicted. Come, fill our lives with your love. Fill our conversations with your grace and truth. Fill this gathering with your presence. We ask this for your glory and praise. Amen.
Thank you very much for Sir John for wonderful and awesome blessing today. And then hope we can give more stronger from God. Okay, again, this is the first webinar series, the international webinar series, the collaboration between Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta and St. Louis University of Baguio, Philippines. And this is the first webinar collaboration series between the Faculty of Biotechnology Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta and the Faculty of Natural Sciences of St. Louis University of Baguio, Philippines. Okay, before we are starting for the webinar series, I will be explain and give the brief explanation of the online seminar. Okay, I think all of you now is familiar during the pandemic for using the webinar online. Maybe Intan, you can share the brief explanation. Okay, this is the rules. It's just a brief rules. All audio and video of participants, except the panelists also, except the panelists actually, will be mute during the session. So all the participants are not available to rename, see, or chat to other participants. You may, if you have the technical assistant, you can ask the Mbak Weni or maybe Intan and Yosua. You can check to the chat room, so you can ask if you have a technical problem in webinar series here. And participants can ask the question to panelists using a Q&A room and will be answered at the Q&A session, will be led by the moderator Mam Leonie and Sejon. And to receive a certificate, e-certificate, all the participants must fill an exit ticket. And the exit ticket link will be displayed at the end of the session. Usually it's 5 minutes before the end of the session. Okay, I think this is the just short rules for our webinar series here. And now, this is the great opportunity for us and the great event for both of us, SLU and UAJY. Today, we will be having the message, the greeting message from the Rector of Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, Professor Insinyur Yoyong Arfiadi, Master of Science and PhD. Prof. Yoyong, the turn is yours and the screen is yours too also.
Thank you, Pak Andre. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the first international webinar collaboration series with the theme Ethnomedicine and Environmental Health in COVID-19 pandemic, where in the first series, it will be discussed the traditional medicine during the COVID-19 pandemic. As we know that the COVID-19 pandemic affects all aspects of our daily life, including the way we interact with each other. Suddenly, we have to stay at home. Our mobility is limited. The borders of the countries are closed. However, it also offers several challenges that might arise. One of them is that we can conduct an online meeting like today's seminar easily. We have that this condition will accelerate the transfer of knowledge and build additional new understanding through the discussion that occur at the seminar. Although we are experiencing difficult time, we hope that the seminar will accelerate the development of knowledge and find some alternative solutions, especially looking for alternative medicine that need to be developed from local resources. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in this occasion, I would like to thank President of St. Louis University, Dean School of Natural Resource Science, the Dean School of Natural Sciences of SLU, Dean of Faculty of Biotechnology, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, Director of Office of External Relations, Media, and Communications and Alumni Affairs, Head of Office of Partnership and Promotions, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, Pak Andre, and last but not least, all speakers who give the seminar. I hope the seminar would be successful and have a fruitful discussion to gain and increase knowledge of COVID-19 on how to cope with it for the sake of our community. Thank you.
Thank you
Pak
very
Andre,
much,
yeah.
Prof. Yoyong, for greeting morning speech today. And hopefully, as Pak Yoyong said, that this webinar will be fruitful seminar because we are learning together, sharing together all the knowledge in everywhere. Okay, thank you, Prof. Yoyong. Okay, now we are continuing for the greeting message from the President of St. Louis University of Baguio, Philippines. Sir Hector, the turn is yours. We still couldn't hear the voices, Sir Hector.
Welcome.
Okay.
On the part of SLU,
Dan?
to all the participants in this first international collaboration webinar series between St. Louis University, Philippines, and Atmajaya, Indonesia, welcome and goodbye. On the part of SLU, we are pleased to host this webinar series. The School of Natural Sciences, together with the External Relations Office, has been very instrumental in organizing this important international engagement with Atmajaya. SLU is located in Baguio City, on the Cordillera Mountain region in northern Philippines. The region is rich in flora and fauna. The topic is very timely and relevant as humanity manages to cope with the global challenges of the coronavirus pandemic. The theme, ethnomedicine and environmental health in the COVID-19 pandemic, is very significant. Through the digital platform like the available array of online communications, we can bring to a wider reach important discussions and exchanges from experts across disciplines. This is the time when connectivity, thanks to the responsible use of information technology, becomes the instrument of healing and saving lives in the context of today's global crisis. As this first ever video conference series of our collaboration aims to accomplish, interdisciplinary dialogue is most needed to tackle the subject that concerns all of us and the future of the world. This crisis of our lifetime has brought to our attention the need to evaluate our lifestyles and to rethink the way we relate to our environment, which is our common home. Among the lessons the COVID-19 experience has taught us is the need to respect the integrity of creation and to do our part in preserving our fragile planet. The overall theme captures what we need to do as we negotiate our way through the pandemic. We need to tap into the richness of our indigenous ways of life, which have ensured and sustained the survival of our forebears in an evolving and sometimes harsh environment that they had to deal with. Their cultural wisdom included the use of ethnomedicine as an integral part of maintaining environmental health. ethnomedicine or traditional medicine help boost their community's immune system and enable them to adapt to changing health developments. In the face of today's crisis, we need to return to nature with the indigenous people's attitude of simplicity. We need to learn their humility, to value the ways of being nurtured by our common home, as shown by their ethics of ecology. Stay healthy and have a fruitful webinar series.
Thank you for the great morning speech for Father Gilbert B. Sales, CICM, as the president of St. Louis University of Baguio. Okay, we cannot waiting for our event today. Again, this is the first international online seminar series for the ethnomedicine and environmental health in COVID-19 pandemic, the collaboration between Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, Indonesia, and the St. Louis University of Philippines. And today, the collaboration between the Faculty of Biotechnology, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, and the Faculty of Natural Sciences of St. Louis University of Baguio, Philippines. And now, we will be starting for the webinar series today. We'll be start for the 4 speakers today, Ma'am Ines, Ma'am Rachel, Ma'am Eva, and Ma'am Mary, and will be led by the 2 moderators will be Ma'am Leonie and Sir John Kelvin. Ma'am Leonie and Sir John Kelvin, the turn is yours and the screen of yours now.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Andre, for the opportunity. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you to all attendees for joining us today. Before we start our webinar today, let me introduce myself. My name is Leonie from Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. I will lead our webinar today together with Sir John Kelvin de Jesus from St. Louis University. We have 4 great speakers today who will be sharing to us about traditional medicine in specific region. And at the end of session, we will have question and answer session. So all attendees, please feel free to ask a question through the Q&A box. Don't forget to write your name and country to let us know you, and also write to whom the question is given to. For the first speaker, now I am pleased to welcome Ma'am Ines Septi Arsinintias, PhD, from Faculty of Biotechnology, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. She is a Vice Dean of Studentship, Alumni, Partnership and Promotion Affairs in Faculty of Biotechnology, and her specialty is Biology Pharmacy. Today, she will be sharing with us about ethnobotany and ethnopharmacology in Indonesia. So, let's give our full attention to Ma'am Ines. Ma'am Ines, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, the time and the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for Ma'am Leonie. First of all, I want to check whether my voice is clear enough or not. Is it okay? Okay, thank you. I will start my presentation today. So, good morning, everybody. And today, it is my honor to be the first speaker from the 4 speakers of our webinar today. I would like to share some information about ethnobotany and ethnopharmacology in Indonesia. So ethnobotany and ethnopharmacology, let's see, from the ethno is a race, people, or culture group, nation, and botany is the science of plants, pharmacology is about the drug and therapeutical use. And if you can see here, is so it means the science of people's interaction with the plants. So study of interaction and relationships between the plants and people over time and space, including the uses of knowledge, beliefs, management systems, classification systems, and language that both modern and traditional cultures have for plants and their associated terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. And these 2 ethnobotany and ethnopharmacology approach is the foundation to observe and develop local knowledge. This observation may reveal information and its usage, and researching the relation between bioactive compound in the bioassay test. So ethnobotany is the science of survival. If plants did not exist, so human life would not possible also. All members of the human family depends on the plants for the survival. And the greatest resource that people have is their ability to innovate, and that ability is shared with all groups of humans who live or have lived on the earth. So in Indonesia now, especially also in the pandemic situation, people are like back to nature. Indonesian archipelago consists of more than 17,000 islands spread around the equator and between the Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean, with mountains up 3,000 meters, altitude above sea level, giving opportunity of plant species growing to form rich and invaluable natural resources. So the richness of Indonesian flora is more than 30,000 plant species that is estimated to be 10% of the global flora. Indonesian forest is the warehouse or natural factory of indigenous medicine or traditional, also people or ethnic that live in and around the forest who have the local knowledge in using them. I would like to share you first the source in Indonesia that in the family level. So in Indonesia, we know that the family medicinal plants, or we call it toga. Toga is the utilization of land in the yard, garden, or field to cultivate medicinal plants in order to meet the family's needs for medicines. And especially it is used for the self-medication illnesses, and also it is used by government to increase family awareness using the natural resources for their health. As you can see in here, it's from the Faculty of Biotechnology, we have the sample for the family medicinal plants. And the second, our resources are from traditional market. As you can see here, thanks to Mr. Atmojo to share me the pictures. So this is the traditional market of Indonesia, especially in Java, Jogja. As you can see here, the sellers here sell a lot of ingredients for traditional medicine. And also it is used for the spices as well in our meals. So we found that the biological activity of the most common plants in Jamu, they are anti-cancer, antiviral, anti-malarial, anti-parasitic, anti-inflammatory, anti-rheumatic, pediatric, and analgesic, also hepatoprotective and gastroprotective components, and it can be used also for anti-diabetic. And nowadays we use this activity that is immunostimulating. In Indonesia, there were a program that was held by the National Ministry, the Health Ministry of Indonesia. It is called RISTOJA, Research Program on Medicinal Plants and Jamu, that was held in 2012, 2015, and 2017. The methods were the interviewing the traditional healers, observation, and documentation. And the objective of RISTOJA was to provide database of the local ethnomedicine knowledge, herbal formula, and medicinal plant community based in Indonesia. And from the exploration, so in 2012, there were 209 ethnicity, and as you can see here, there were 13,000 more the medicinal plants with 1,740 species. And mostly used was the Curcuma domestica, and also Cocos nucifera, the coconuts, and the ginger. At 2015, also found that kunyit or Curcuma longa, a lot of people use that, and pepper betel, and also again the Zingiber officinale or jinja. In Indonesia, it's called jahe. So I would like to show you the principles of traditional way use traditional medicines or herbal. First, they can revitalizing body function. If our body vitalized, so the body can work optimally, so that the body's ability to adapt to environment be better. And here is the famous, I think in even the world. So Jamu is the originally traditional medicine from Indonesia, and the documentation was found also in Borobudur. If one of you ever visited in Borobudur, yeah. So jamu is holistic therapy. It brings the concepts of harmony, balance between a person and their environment, or the balance between the hot and cold elements in the body. And jamu is the Indonesian herbal medicine that has been practiced for many centuries in the Indonesian community to maintain good health and to treat diseases. Jamu is still very popular in rural as well as in urban areas. And also it has acquired a potential benefit both economically and clinically. And one of the specific character from jamu is not overnight remedy. You have to take that in the long duration. And as you can see here, maybe some of you know the profession. So it is jamu gendong. So it is famous in Indonesia, the woman who sell jamu carry it in the back. Here is the nowadays. So some years ago, she carried it, and if you can imagine, it can weigh around 20 kilograms, and it was very heavy. So nowadays, the women, the seller, Ibu Jamu, is selling their products you can find in the street. And as you can see here, many of herbs here, so the extract here, and she will make it. So she will make the jamu by herself and sells it directly to the customer. Usually, if the seller will carry 4 or 5 popular jamu that maintain or improve health and strength. And these jamu are always preventative rather than curative. So it's for the prevention. And jamu nowadays, so some years ago, people think, or the young age think, drinking jamu is the old ways. It's not cool. But nowadays, as you can see here, the young people started to love jamu as well, doing by their innovation. So jamu has some kind of impression that has a bitter taste. So they have innovations, as you can see here, like let's go to cafe and drink jamu together, or even make it as a golden milk. And here using the espresso, so not coffee only, but for now it's a jamu espresso and ice cream. Yeah, so it is now being the lifestyle of young people. And I would like to introduce you some herbal formula that are inherited by our ancestor. So for immune system, I will tell you about the Philanthus urinaria and galangal or noni. And for the hypertension, you can use celery. And again, if you think about this pandemic situation, people who has the comorbid disease is vulnerable more than the health one. So it can help the person with the comorbid disease. If he has or she has the diabetes mellitus, we can have the drink from cinnamon or using noni, and also bitter melon. To relieve the cough, we can use galangal, lagundi, or Vitex trifolia, and saga, Abrus precatorius, red ginger, lemon, mint, and clove, or Syzygium aromaticum. And also it has, for reducing flu symptom, we have Nigella sativa and Valeria macrocarpa. Also, we can add some ginger, mint, and clove. And also for the sore throat, we have ginger, lime, nutmeg, and fennel. And if you are interested in, I will introduce 2 of formula that you can prepare it in your home. If we have red ginger, lime, cinnamon, and brown sugar, you just wash them and then boil them and heat it, and you can drink it freshly. But be careful with the dosage. So you can drink it 1.5 cup twice a day. And this is the second one. So you can have turmeric, galangal, lime, water, and brown sugar. Of course, the sweetness, you can adjust it by yourself. And wash them, and also gently crushed and boiled. And the portion taken twice a day, as much as 1.5 cup. those what I explained is about the traditional way. So now we have to go to the prospective way. How to bioprospecting. So some activities that we can do is to screen the potential plants based on the bioactivity. And also we have to conserve them by the conservation. And importantly, we have to do the innovation and socialization to the community. So I took one of the study about the understory plants in Gunung Merapi National Park. This mountain is very famous. It's also located in Yogyakarta and Central Java. So one of the study take the ethnopharmacological use and their antioxidant activity. This study was done with the interview to some key respondents, and the result you can see here that 47% have been used as the medicine, but 78 species still unknown. Though 4% of 160 plants was used for the feeding cattle. And the study was carried by using the DPPH, radical scavenging activity, and from them we can see the IC50 value. And from this study, it resulted that 6 understory plants are potential to be the antioxidant sources. And the next, it is about to find the anti-hyperglycemic agents through the alpha-glucosidase inhibition. And this study carried out to 28 plants of Indonesia through the inhibition of maltase, the intestine maltase inhibition. And from that 28 plants, there were found 7 plants that's potential. And the two highest were investigated more using the bioassay, each of fraction. So we started from the separation, fractionation, and then isolation. And from 2 plants, it has been successfully 9 compounds were isolated from 2 plants. So from Plukia indica, in Indonesian name called beluntas, the leaves has the potential for the anti-hyperglycemic agents. So one the thing is, if we know by the knowledge from our ancestor, we know that these plants are used for the diabetes mellitus. This plant is being used for the headache. But sometimes we do not know what compounds are responsible in it. And as we know, many of drugs now has been found from the isolation from the natural resources. So hopefully from this study, this isolation, so this compound can be the information for the community that these compounds are responsible for the anti-hyperglycemic agents. So you can develop it furthermore. And the second plant was the secang, kayu secang, or Caesalpinia sapan. It is famous for the color is very red, and also we use that in many of traditional drink in Yogyakarta as well. And the second, I would like to care about the conservation. So the conservation also, we have to see from the biotechnological view using the culture tissue. And this research was done in our lab, the effect of infection time on gene transformation, frequency in orthosiphon stamineus with the mediation of Agrobacterium tumefaciens. And it was found that 30 minutes was found to be the optimum time to increase the callus yield. And the third one, I would like to introduce you this plant. It's called Crescentia QJT. In local name, Berenu. Maybe you can also familiar with this, Calabash. Yeah, it's distributed in the tropic area, and Calabash has not fully utilized and even threatened with extinction. So one of my colleagues at Mojo 2019 has taken the research about this fruit. So communities in several regions of Yogyakarta has utilized the fruit as livestock feed and fermented drink, and also pesticides and fertilizer. So my colleague introduced how to process and also what are the benefits of Brenu and its use as medicines for stomachache, asthma, colds, and diabetes mellitus. And based on his research, the result is that these efforts have had a positive impact and have encouraged communities to plant and prevent seedling from being harvested. Because of many people doesn't know the benefits of this fruit, many people also try to just remove it from their yard. And this is our activities to conserve the Brenu, yeah, the Brenu fruit. So if as you can here is Mr. Atmojo, yeah, he is trying to make it as a mask. And also the fruit here, you can dry it and you can use it as the, we can use it for anything. And here in this slide, we can see the pictures here that we try to socializing the benefit and how to prepare it so you can consume it. And we also try to ask our students also, so the young generation to know more by making it, making the Brenu preparation. Yeah, I hope maybe somebody, maybe if you are in Jogja, can visit us here and try this, and we can ask Mr. Atmojo. And here, I think it's almost my end of the presentation. So we had the activities in campus to engage more young people to know more about jamu. These activities actually was done in 2018. Actually, we had planned it this year, but because this pandemic, we cannot hold this event. So as you can see here, we are here trying to make the turmeric and the tamarind, yeah, kunir asam. It makes our hands yellow, but the taste is very tasteful. This is, I think, the most favorite and the most popular jamu in Indonesia. And we drink it from the young age, especially for the girl or woman who had the menstruation. It can help to reduce the pain. Yeah, and at the time, we also invite from foreign students to experience this. And the impression is like, you know, the hands, our hands is yellow and it's interesting, but we can have it in household. So I come into my conclusion. So ethnobotany and ethnopharmacology can strengthen our links to the natural world, and it will be a vital key for the preserving the diversity of plants as well as to understand and interpreting our local wisdom and the knowledge by which we are and will be enabled to deal with them effectively and sustainably throughout the world. And I think we agree with this. Our responsibility is to inherit the knowledge to our next generation. Thank you very much. And I will show you this, my hands yellow also. Okay, thank you. And screen now to moderator, Ma'am Leonie. Thank you very much.
Okay, a very insightful presentation, Ma'am Ines. So now in Indonesia, the trend is going back to the herbal medicine, especially during this pandemic. And it was supported by the various of Indonesian origin plants containing functional compounds. Before we continue to the next session, I would like to greet all participants that joining us via YouTube. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And also, I would like to remind again that all participants from Zoom meeting and also from YouTube could write a question on Q&A box during the presentation. So you may write the question on Q&A box, and don't forget to write your name and your institution to let us know you, and also write to whom the question is given to. For example, you want to ask to Ma'am Ines for the speaker one, you write that you ask to Ma'am Ines. Like that. All right, thank you, Ma'am Ines, for the presentation. Let's continue to the next session, which will be delivered from 3 great speakers from SLU. Before we continue, I would like to invite Sir John Kelvin to lead our next session. Are you there, sir?
Hello, ma'am.
Okay, the time and the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Leonie. Good morning, everyone. I am John Kelvin De Jesus, a faculty from the School of Natural Sciences, St. Louis University. Our warmest welcome to all participants of this first collaboration of webinar series. At this point, we now proceed to our second resource speaker. Our next speaker is a professor and associate dean of the School of Natural Sciences of St. Louis University, Baguio City. She finished her bachelor's degree in biology as well as her master's of science in biology at St. Louis University. And she finished her doctor of philosophy as a BOST SEI academic scholar in the same university. She has been an academician in SLU from 2004 up to the present. She has also been a reviewer of various local and international research journals, such as Emirates Journal of Food and Agriculture, Ethnobotany Research and Applications, Natural Products, and Indian Journal, and many more. Our resource speaker has also published numerous articles for both local and international publishers with multiple research presentations garnering different awards as well. And finally, she has also been granted with multiple research grants by different Philippine government institutions. Indeed, our next speaker is an expert in the field of biology, both in academe and research. Without further much ado, I present to you Dr. Raquel C. Barcelo with her presentation entitled Medicinal Plants Sold by Vendors in Baguio City, Philippines. Dr. Barcelo.
Maraming salamat, Sir John, for that generous, kind introduction. So before I show my presentation, I would like to greet everyone a pleasant morning. Magandang umaga sa lahat. Okay, so I have here my email address on this slide. I hope you can see it. So after the webinar, those that who would like to communicate with me, you may send your message to this email address, rcbarcelo@slu.edu.ph. So greetings from Baguio City, Philippines. Magandang umaga. Good morning to all of us. In this presentation, I will be sharing the first phase of our project on urban ethnobotany. It's an ethnobotanical survey of medicinal plants sold by vendors in Baguio City, Philippines. In this project, we have documented the traditional medicinal knowledge of vendors and the contribution to the community healthcare in the city. This is the outline of my presentation. As an introduction, according to ECOR in 2014, 80% of the world's population greatly depend on herbal medicinal plant products. In the Philippines, specifically in cities such as Baguio, there had been few documentations made on medicinal plants. That is the reason why our project was conducted in order to identify the medicinal plants being sold at markets, streets, tourist places, to document the traditional knowledge associated with the plants, provide a practical reference for identification and proper utilization, and last but not least, to disseminate information so as to create awareness on the importance of medicinal plants in our city. To summarize the procedures done in this project, allow me to present
a very simple methodology flowchart. Prior to the conduct of the study, clearance was obtained from the SLU Research Ethics Committee. And in the conduct of the field surveys, we have acquired consent from our key informants, and we have done interviews making use of a semi-structured questionnaire we adopted from a study by Thring and Waits in 2006. We collected samples from the field we gathered through opportunistic sampling from the vendors. We came up with our voucher specimens by drying and pressing them. And we calculated the use value of species, the use value of each families where they belong to. Here is the formula that we have used. So it's the summation of the use value reports per species divided by the total number of informants. Again, we have derived this. We adopted this from the study of Thring in 2006. Finally, from this first phase of our project, we were able to come up with these outputs. These are the plant information consisting of the scientific classification, botanical description, and of course, our main priority, the medicinal uses. Second, we were able to come up with the ranking of this plant species in terms of use value. And finally, the herbarium. We were able to deposit our voucher specimens at St. Louis University Father Bratman Museum of Natural History. So this is how it looked like in that museum. I would like to briefly describe the respondents of our research work. So you can see here a table summarizing the number of respondents per location, per study site. So you can see that majority of our respondents come from Mines View. It's a tourist place. And then as for their age, so you can see that it's distributed from 16 up to more than 46 years of age. And majority, as you can see in this table, are females. So our respondents were, majority of them were females. And as for the years that they have been selling medicinal plants, you can see that it was not that very long. So you can see in this column that majority of them have this years of selling ranging from 1 to 10 years. And here, another column, 31 years and up, okay? And as for the source of their knowledge, we were able to note that majority of them, the source of their knowledge came from their family, relatives, from friends, even from their own experience. And of course, we have now literatures that are available, okay? Moving on, let me show you the study sites. So we had 7 study sites. And in these 7 study sites, we had 42 key informants. So as I've mentioned a while ago, majority of them, we were able to come across the respondents at Mines View. So let's try to give the number of plants per site. So the distribution of the medicinal plants per site. So in Baguio Orchidarium and Harrison Road, we were able to record 28 medicinal plants. In Mabini Street, 19. In Mines View, 16. For both the public market and Wright Park, 13. And last but not the least, Portavaga with 12 medicinal plants. So as you can see, the highest number, 28, we were able to record that at Baguio Orchidarium and Harrison Road. These are the plants. We were able to come up with 59, all of them. So that's a long list. So allow me to just enumerate briefly, and you might want to look forward with our publication on these medicinal plants documented here in Baguio City as a book chapter in Springer. If I remember it right, it's a Baguio Cultural Diversity book. All right, so coming out soon. You will be able to read the details more there. Okay, so at number 1, we have lubigan. Number 2, kutsay. Number 3, aloe vera. 4, that one is dalipawin. Number 5, we have serpentina. Number 6, ashitaba. Number 7, catnip. 8, guyabano. 9, anunas. 10, atis. 11, celery. 12, albotra. 13, Taragon, 14 Urbaca or Damong Maria, 15 Subsub, 16 Kataka, and then 17 Acapulco, 18 Gotucola, 19 Cinnamon, 20 Sarigao, 21 Culantro, 22 Insulin plant, 23 Gainura, 24 lemongrass, 25 citronella, 26 sapal, 27 paragis, 28 gugu, 29 horsetail, 30 eucalyptus, 31 tawa-tawa, 32 sagyat, 33 gumamela, 34 banaba, 35 lavender, 36 lemon balm, 37 peppermint, 38 spearmint, 39 chocomint, 40 basil, 41 lupiit, 42 passion, 43 malvarosa, 44 parsley, 45 dail, 46 oregano, 47 porcelain, 48 rosemary, 49 sage, 50 salaginella, 51 stevia, 52 mahogany, 53 tuhat, 54 marigold, 55 dandelion, 56 thyme, 57 makabuhay, 58 dangla, and then the last but not the least, lagundi. So in summary, we had a total of 59 species belonging to 52 genera and 29 families that were recorded in this research that would treat various ailments and health problems. So you can see here a graph showing us the more than 50 health problems recorded in this study as indicated by the different shades of color. All right, but the most common of them all, the most common ailment treated is that of cough. Why? There are 16 plants recorded in this project that would treat cough. So here is a table summarizing all the health problems and the number of plants that we were able to record for each health ailment. So what plant part was commonly sold, thus used for various purposes, health problems? It is very much seen here in this figure, that is the leaves, okay? And then for the modes of preparation and administration, the most common mode of preparation is through boiling or decoction. And then for the mode of administration is through drinking. What plant family is the most dominant? So when we say the most dominant of them all, we had the most recorded plants in this family, and it's the mint family, the Lamiaceae or the Labiative family. So it's the family with the highest number of species. Not only that, but the plants in this family had the highest computed use value. So the use value is an index used in quantitative ethnobotany that will serve as an indicator, a quantitative measure for the degree of importance, the degree of use. Okay, so the Lamiaceae family, again, is the most dominant. All right, so in this table, I'm sorry, it's so small. Again, for the details of this presentation, you might want to look forward for that book chapter, which is coming out soon. So I just would like you to know that for each use that were recorded in this study, we tried our best to verify and validate through literatures. So on the last column here, you can see that we have a column for literature cited. So in the team, we tried our best to really look for literature supporting the claims of the various uses for each plant. Okay, and in this table, we were also able to identify what specific study site can each of the plants be found, thus can be bought. All right, so let's do away with all of those because I lack time. Now, are you excited to get to know the top 10 plants based on the use value? So here they are. At top 1, we have Angelica Keiski, also known as Ashitaba. The stem and the leaves are used for cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. The mode of preparation and the dosage is also indicated there. And at number 2, we have the Mentha arguta, the peppermint plant. So the leaves are used for bad breath, colds, cough, diarrhea, pain during dysmenorrhea, headache, high blood pressure, indigestion, vomiting. Number 3, we have the rosemary. The leaves are used for cancer, colds, cough, dengue, hair fall, headache, high blood pressure, indigestion, memory loss, toothache. Number 4, stevia from the family Asteraceae. The leaves are used for diabetes, inflammation, kidney problems. At number 5, we have the mahogany. So the seeds are used for cough, diabetes, high blood pressure. And then at number 6, we have tarragon. The leaves are used for arthritis, gastritis, menstruation problem, toothache. The macabuhay stem for arthritis, for cough, diabetes, high blood pressure, malaria, skin problem, toothache. The lavender plant, the leaves are used for fever and insomnia. The bark of the Parameria lavigata, the lupiid plant for high cholesterol and wounds. And the last but not the least, for the top 10 plants sold in Baguio City is aloe vera. The leaves are used for burns, cancer, dandruff, hair fall, inflammation, and wounds. So we now conclude the following from our project. That the herbal plants are widely sold by the vendors at the streets and markets of our city. The vendors are very much knowledgeable on the parts that are to be used, the uses, the mode of preparation, the method, I should say, the mode of use or application. And overall, this street vending is not just a source of income for the vendors, but the knowledge that they have, the plants that they sell, they contribute to the primary health care of the local residents here in Baguio City. Now, we recommend the following for future work. That the data gathered from our study be further validated through pharmacological research by our pharmacists, and that the documented plants in the study be further explored in drug development. Of course, let's not forget the conservation of these plants through domestic and cultivation approaches so as to ensure sustainable source. And last but not the least, to create some urban home gardens where we have these medicinal plants grown. Now I'd like to acknowledge the following: the SLU REC Committee for ethical clearance, UPNLUH for accommodating us, to Dr. Balangkod, Dr. Lumbres for the vector map use in our paper, and that of our CHED research project, the Pabedaco project. And lastly, the Co-Digital Floor for helping us in plant identification and verification. These are my babies in the project, and these are the members. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Barcelo. It's nice to know that until now, herbal plants are still widely available and are being sold for consumption, not only as a source of income to the vendors, but it also provides and contributes to the primary healthcare to the residents. Of course, what's great is that the vendors are actually knowledgeable about the specific parts to be used, the method of preparation, and the use and application of these traditional medicines. It is also interesting to see These plants, which we normally see present in our surroundings or even our backyards, like gumamela, mahogany, or those we use for culinary, like peppermint and rosemary, are very much useful as herbal medicines. Once again, thank you very much, Dr. Barcelo. We now proceed to our third speaker. So our third speaker is also a professor at St. Louis University. She is a former department head of the Department of Pharmacy, St. Louis University. She completed her bachelor's degree in pharmacy in the same institution and finished her master's of science in pharmacy in Centro Escolar University, Manila. And she is currently in progress for her Doctor of Philosophy in Pharmacy. Our resource speaker has also been a resource facilitator to various workshops and trainings, including extraction and phytochemical analysis techniques and instrumentation. Dear participants, I present to you our third speaker, Ma'am Eva Marie B. Pascual, with her presentation entitled Complementary and Alternative Medicine Practices in the Philippines. Ma'am Eva.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Eva Marie Pascual, a faculty of St. Louis University. I'm teaching pharmacy students to learn about drugs and medicines. So, are you familiar with complementary and alternative medicine? If not, then let me introduce to you about it. My topic would be complementary and alternative medicine in the Philippine Cordilleras. My presentation would consist of the following. First, definition or description of complementary and alternative medicine, or also known as COM. Second, what are the types of COM? Third, what COM practices are in each type? Fourth, where is the Cordilleras or Cordillera Administrative Region or CAR located? Fifth, what are the COM practices? Good morning, everyone.
Ito pong payment.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Eva Marie Pascual, a faculty of St. Louis University. I'm teaching pharmacy students to learn about drugs and medicines. So, are you familiar with complementary and alternative medicine? If not, then let me introduce to you about it. My topic would be complementary and alternative medicine in the Philippine Cordilleras. My presentation would consist of the following. First, definition or description of complementary and alternative medicine, or also known as COM. Second, what are the types of
Our apologies, our dearest participants. We are experiencing a bit of technical difficulties.
Hello, Sir John.
So, are you familiar with complementary and alternative medicine? If not, then let me introduce you about it. My topic is complementary and alternative medicine in the Philippine Cordilleras. So, are you familiar with complementary and alternative medicine? Definition or description of complementary and alternative medicine, or also known as. Good morning, everyone. I'm Eva Mary Pascual, a faculty of St. Louis University. I'm teaching pharmacy students to learn about drugs and medicines. So, are you familiar with complementary and alternative medicine? If not, then let me introduce to you about it. My topic would be complementary and alternative medicine in the Philippine Cordilleras. My presentation would consist of the following. First, definition or description of complementary and alternative medicine, or also known as CAM. Second, what are the types of CAM? Third, what CAM practices are in each type? Fourth, where is the Cordilleras or Cordillera Administrative Region or CAR located? Fifth, what are the CAM practices in the Cordilleras? And lastly, what health practices are being observed in the Cordilleras in this time of COVID-19 pandemic? So let me provide you with a capsule of CAM. So what is complementary and alternative medicine? This is also called traditional medicine, folk medicine, holistic medicine, natural medicine, or unorthodox medicine. Now, we all know that the objective of medicine is to address people's unavoidable needs for emotional and physical healing. The discipline has evolved over millennia by drawing on the religious beliefs and social structures of numerous indigenous peoples. Also, by exploiting natural products in their environment. And more recently, by developing and validating therapeutic and preventive approaches using the scientific method. Now, traditional medicine is not accepted in the mainstream medicine or standard practice. So when we say standard practice or standard practice of medicine, it is the regular practice of medicine, wherein they make use of surgery as well as proven or scientifically proven drugs for the treatment or cure of diseases. Though, as of the present time, some complementary and alternative medicine are now being scientifically proven and therefore being slowly accepted or integrated in the mainstream or standard medical practice. Now, this traditional medicine is an integral part of human evolution and development. It is influenced by religion, mysticism, magic, superstition, folkloric herbalism, and Western medicine. So the practices of our ancestors are so-called complementary and alternative medicine, or more popularly as traditional medicine. Okay, so there are two terms in CAM. First, complementary, and second would be alternative. So when we say complementary, it is a group of diagnostic and therapeutic disciplines that are used together with conventional medicine. Examples of which would include acupuncture, Ayurveda, and aromatherapy. Okay, so let me give you an idea. So for aromatherapy, we all know that when we smell something that is fragrant, we feel relaxed. we feel happy. So this happiness as well as relaxation would improve our health. Okay, so these are some of the different complementary and alternative medicine taken as one. So it will include Ayurveda, aromatherapy, hypnosis, homeopathy, herbal medicine of the use of plant drugs, meditation, chromotherapy, massage therapy, Reiki, diet therapy, acupuncture, and yoga. Now, what about the second term, which is alternative medicine? This refers to medical products and practices that are not part of standard care. So from the term alternative, it is used in place of the standard medical care. So examples of which would include traditional medicine, homeopathy, acupuncture, and chiropractic. Okay, so these are the pictures that will show us some of the different alternative medicine. So we have here aromatherapy, the use of traditional medicine, massage, acupuncture, and Reiki. So just to give you an idea, so for acupuncture, needles are inserted into the skin. The needle size is similar to the fineness of the strand of our hair. So very thin. So it will not really cause pain or that much pain. So once it is inserted into the body, it is believed that it will trigger naturally occurring painkillers, naturally occurring feel-good chemicals. And therefore, when these chemicals are released, they are going to help the body to heal. So we call it as acupuncture. So they believe that our body is made up of pressure points. So once they are triggered, they will release now these feel-good chemicals. Now, due to the multitude of CAM practices, the National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine, or NCCAM, come up with the classification of these practices. So there are 4 or even 5. So 1, we have the biologically based practices. 2nd, we have the manipulative body-based practices. 3rd, energy medicine. And 4th, the mind-body medicine. So what are these? So for manipulative and body-based practices, these are practices that are based on manipulation or movement of one or more body parts. So such as when we exercise. Now what about energy medicine? So this involves the use of energy fields such as magnetic fields or biofields. Energy fields that some believe surround and penetrate the human body. 3rd, mind-body medicine uses a variety of techniques designed to enhance the mind's ability to affect bodily functions and symptoms. And then 4th, biologically based practices. This makes use of substances found in nature such as herbs, special diets, or vitamins. So this would be in doses outside those used in conventional medicine. So in the Philippines, we have the best 100 Philippine medicinal plants. Now, the whole medical system are built upon complete systems of theory and practice. Often, these systems have evolved apart from and earlier than the conventional medical approach used in the United States or even in the entire country or the world. So to give you specific examples of these different classifications, we have for biologically based approaches, which is believed to be the most used form of traditional medicine, will include diet, herbs, and vitamins. Okay, so I think we all know that when we eat the correct diet, then we will have the correct health. So what you eat is what you become. So you are what you eat. Next, so we have manipulative and body-based therapies. So this will include massage, chiropractic, and osteopathy. So for massage, it is believed that newborn babies grow faster when they are massaged. When they are massaged every day, when they wake up and they are being massaged, then they will grow faster and develop greater immunity against diseases. For mind-body interventions, this will include yoga, spirituality, and relaxation. When you are prayerful, I think it has something to do with our health. Although it is beyond our explanation or beyond scientific explanation. And then we also have energy therapies. So this will include Reiki, magnets, and Qigong. Now, Qigong is a form of coordinated body posture and movement, as well as breathing and meditation. So through this movement and practices, it will improve our health as well as spirituality. Martial arts is also under Qigong. So it is a disciplined living. Reiki, on the other hand, is a Japanese technique for stress reduction and relation that also promotes healing, because they believe that our body is made up of a life force. So once this life force is low, then we get sick. But if it is strong, then we dominate and we are healthy. And then we also have our alternative medical system, so such as Ayurveda and the use of traditional medicines such as plants and herbs. Now, within this practice, so we have this multitude. The effect of this would be holistic health, or we call it as holism. It shows us that health can be achieved by the intermingling of different practices. Hence, the term holistic health. So what about it? It is about caring for the whole person, providing for your physical, mental, spiritual, and social needs. It's rooted in the understanding that all these aspects affect your overall health. And being unwell in one aspect affects you in others. So it is a concept focused on relationships among all living things. So therapeutic encounters will include enhancing resistance to illness, reducing aggravating behaviors, stress management, and the goal is optimal state of wellness for each unique person. So there you have it. So an intermingling of all the practices would bring about holistic health. So it will affect our mind, body, and spirit. So a balance of these three will bring about holistic health or holistic health. Okay, so that's it for the CAM. Now, we move on to the Cordillera Administrative Region. Okay, so what CAM are being practiced in the Cordillera Administrative Region? Okay, so I am from Baguio City, and it is considered under Cordillera Administrative Region. So in Baguio, you have, it is considered as a tourist attraction. So you can go to places that are very accommodating and very welcoming to the site. So Cordillera is a name given by the Spanish conquistadors when they first saw the mountain ranges. So Cordillera means knotted rope. So which refers to the jumbled rolls and dips of this long range traversing the northern part of Luzon area. So Cordillera is found in Luzon. So northern as well as central part of Luzon. So this Cordillera administrative region is subdivided into 6 provinces as well as ethno-linguistic groups, namely Abra. The inhabitants are called Tingians or Isnegs, Apayao, Benguet, Ifugao, Kalinga, and Mountain Province. Cordillera is said to be the watershed cradle of North Luzon because it is hosted by 6 major rivers that provide continuous water for irrigation and energy. So the different rivers will include Chico River, Ahin River, Stifo River, Abra River, Amborayan River, and Agno River. Also, it is called to be the only landlocked region in the country. So when you say landlocked region, it is surrounded by other land and it has no shore or anything else. So not a lot of water surrounds the area, but then it is surrounded by mountains. The inhabitants of the Cordillera or CAR are called Igorots. So I think I'm born in Mangkayan, Benguet, and therefore I am an Igorot. So these are the indigenous people living in the uplands of the Cordillera region. So let's try to know what is their practices or what are their practices in terms of healing or treating diseases. So most of us, as of the present, would believe that health is wealth, especially in this time of pandemic. So I think the most important wealth now that we have is our health. So what are their practices? The Cordillerans are people with complex system of beliefs, living simple lives to appease their gods. So they believe in gods. They also perform rituals to celebrate their daily lives, a good harvest, health, peace, war, and other symbols of living. Their religious beliefs generally would be related to nature, offering to Diyos, Adi, Kaila, or also known as, or they call him Kabunyan. They also believe in Anitos, or household gods. They believe that objects had spirits or inhabited by such. In terms of their industry, they engage in gold mining, slash and burn farming, and planting vegetables. So if you come to Baguio, you would see plants like the fruits and vegetables, strawberries, petchay, cabbage, carrots, and so on. Now, the Cordillerans view disease as caused by nature as well as supernatural forces. Thus, they believe in making peace with the same to ensure healing. They also believe in gods, one of which would be Bulul. Now, Bulul is the god of Okay, so the sculpture bulul is a male sculpture which is believed to be the deity of rice crop. So this is for a fruitful plantation or a fruitful harvest. So the Igorots are confronted daily, or they believe, by the balance of nature, the constant change of sunrise and sunset, rainy season and dry season, youth and age, birth and death. So thus, any disturbance of these things will result to death. So if someone is sick because of this disturbance, they perform ceremonies to restore balance on every occasion. Other practices will include Igorot dance or feast, dances called paypayto, ragragsakan, patpatong. So all of these are dances that will appease the spirit or the environment in order to have a healthy condition. So other practices will include salib. So these are also dances, tatchok, oyaoy, or oyauy. They also believe in rituals like the so-called kanyaw. So in kanyaw, they're offered for various purposes. So this is a bountiful celebration, a generous celebration. So this is to celebrate as a religious and as part of funeral rites and to secure healing. They are going to butcher several pigs, including cows. So when they butcher, the internal organs of these animals should be clean as well as healthy. And they're going to offer this for various purposes. So if the animals are not healthy, then they're going to butcher another batch. So it must be clean and healthy in order to secure healing. Begnas, so also known as a 1 week of celebration after planting and before they bless their crops and protect it from plagues or insects. Another one, so we have the amulets or charms. So they also believe in amulets and charms. So such as this pendant or earrings. So they believe that this can bring about a healthy condition, as believed by the Ifugaos, as well as Kalinga, Bontok, and Gaddang. Now they also have this special fabric. So they make use of this when they dance. So they make use of a special fabric, so which in Bontok is called as Siusiwan fabric. Also, Gaddang by the Isnag or Itnags. Ikat for the Ifugaos, and Kalinga textiles, Ginamat. So it is the best textile. For the Kantanai, it is called Impaod, Impagod, or Pinagod. So these are special cloths that are done by weaving. So it is one of their industry, growing industry, and it is actually a heritage of the Philippines. Okay, so there you are. So there are still several practices by the Cordillerans, but there are too many to mention. Just to give you a capsule of this, these are, in summary, the health practices and beliefs of the Cordillerans. So they believe in a supreme deity and shamans. So appeasing this deity and shamans would bring about health. Second, they believe in the existence of spirits of the dead in nature and other objects. They also believe in intermediation, wherein we have the so-called shamans, priests, or the quack doctors. So they intermediate in order to make peace with nature, with gods, and objects in order to restore health. They also believe in magic, such as those represented by the charms or amulets. And they believe or they have rituals. Now, all of these are classified under CAM. And therefore, these are the CAM practices that are being observed by the Cordillerans. I think that is all about it, about my talk. So I hope that you have learned something about complementary and alternative medicine, as well as the different practices and disciplines observed in the Cordillera. So actually, yesterday is the Cordillera Day. So it was on June 15 or July 15 rather, that President Aquino of the Philippines signed the Executive Order number 20 creating the Cordillera Administrative Region. So up to the present, those are the different camp practices that are being observed in the Cordillera. And I think in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Cordillera is not much affected. So people in the Cordillera are disciplined. So they observe the rules that are being set by the government. And hopefully, through resilience, we can overcome this COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Pascual. It's quite interesting how these complementary and alternative medicines, especially those being practiced as traditions, are still being used as a form of healing. It shows how health should be viewed in a holistic approach, as other factors such as stress, state of wellness, and behaviors can affect our health. Once again, thank you, Ma'am Eva. Let's proceed to our last speaker for today's international webinar collaboration series. Our next speaker is an assistant professor of St. Louis University, the current SLU School of Natural Sciences undergraduate research coordinator, and a member of the SLU Research and Ethics Committee. She completed her in pharmacy, focusing on natural product development, including bioassay, ethnopharmacology, and phytochemical screening. And she has participated in multiple trainings and seminar workshops for researchers. Currently, she is a research staff on ongoing research entitled Search for Potential Beta-Lactamase Inhibitors from Soil Microbiota. Friends and colleagues, I present to you our speaker, Ma'am Mary Luz Piangaan, with her presentation entitled Virgin Coconut Oil, Tawa-Tawa, and Lagundi, Exploring Unconventional Weapons in Battling COVID-19. Ma'am Mary Luz.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Sir JK, for your generous introduction. So I hope that you are comfortable and in good health while listening to this presentation. I will be talking about some unconventional weapons that can be used in the management of COVID-19. These are virgin coconut oil or VCO, tawa-tawa or asthma weed or snake weed, and five-leaf chase tree, locally known as lagundi. For this topic, we will be starting with the overview of how SARS-CoV-2 hijacks the host cell and the associated clinical manifestations of COVID-19, so that we will be able to understand and determine the possible targets for drug development. We will then proceed to the mechanisms by which the plants mentioned earlier might possibly work against the disease. So let us start, shall we? Just to clarify, SARS-CoV-2 is the virus and COVID-19 is the disease. SARS-CoV-2 is a single-stranded, enveloped positive RNA virus. It is important to note that aside from SARS-CoV-2, other RNA viruses that cause human diseases include Ebola, influenza, polio, dengue, and HIV. You will see later why it is worth mentioning this disease causing RNA viruses in relation to SARS-CoV-2. All right. Okay, so this is how the virus infects the cell. Upon entering the body, the virus binds to the surface of the target cell by using the angiotensin converting enzyme receptor, the ACE2 receptor. And with the help of the TMP RSS2 or the transmembrane protease serine 2, the virus will fuse with the cell membrane and enter the cell. After entering the cell or the host cell, the virus then would release its RNA by a process called uncoating. And then the viral RNA is translated by the host cell to form viral replicase proteins to make more RNAs, some of which are then transcribed and translated into viral proteins. Now, these RNAs that were made and the viral proteins are then assembled into virions in the cell's endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus. And then the mature virus are then transported via the vesicles and released out of the cell. So basically, that is how the virus SARS-CoV-2 hijacks the host cell. SARS-CoV-2 primarily encodes for structural and non-structural proteins, since the entire virus is only composed of the nucleic acid RNA and the protein coat. So the structural proteins are the spike protein, nucleocapsid, membrane, and envelope protein, which makes up the virus coat. The non-structural proteins are the enzymes that are needed in replicating and processing new mRNAs. So you will see, therefore, that anything that would inhibit or destroy these proteins may possibly work as an antiviral, either by damaging the structural integrity of the virus or by stopping its replication. So, let's take a look at some of the familiar drugs that are being tested against SARS-CoV-2. Of the structural components, the spike protein of the virus is the one that binds to the host receptor ACE2. And therefore, it is an important protein to be inhibited. And elucidation of its structure would allow for vaccine development. We are probably familiar with the drugs chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine. These are anti-malarial agents that display antiviral activity by various mechanisms. It is theorized that these drugs changes the morphology of the ACE2 receptor, therefore reducing the binding affinity of the S protein of the virus to the receptor. So, it does not work on the S protein per se. Rather, it prevents it from binding to the host receptor. Other than that, these drugs may also interfere with the processing and maturation of viral proteins. So that is one example of a drug target, the spike protein, and examples of drugs that work against it. Of the non-structural proteins, the 3 chymotrypsin-like protease and the papain-like protease in a coordinated manner in splitting and processing viral polyproteins, and thus are important drug targets too. So, the HIV protease inhibitors are used against AIDS. Lopinavir-ritonavir combination and darunavir are being repurposed for the treatment of SARS-CoV-2 because they show inhibitory action or activity against the chymotrypsin-like protease. Disulfiram, a drug for alcohol dependence, and the anti-metabolites 6-mercaptopurine and 6-thioguanine show promising activity against papain-like protease. Another important drug target is the RNA-dependent RNA polymerase enzyme, or the RDRP, because it allows the viral genome to be transcribed into new RNA copies. So, if you inhibit this polymerase enzyme, RNA replication is stopped. Some of the familiar drugs include favipiravir, which was developed for the treatment of influenza, remdesivir, which was originally developed for the treatment of Ebola, and galidesivir. These are actually prodrugs, meaning they are metabolized into a form that resemble nucleotide bases. Favipiravir is a guanine analog, while remdesivir and galidesivir are adenine analogs. These analogs, when incorporated into newly formed RNAs, would stop further replication. So, update, as of July 4, 2020, the WHO accepted the recommendation from the Solidarity Trials International Screening Committee to discontinue the trials for hydroxychloroquine and the lopinavir-ritonavir drugs because interim results show that these agents produce little or no reduction in the mortality of hospitalized COVID-19 patients when compared to the standard of care. So, even if these drugs have potential, if they are not effective when tested against actual patients, they cannot be used. So, that was the overview of the viral replication, the important viral drug targets to be considered, and examples of drugs that are currently being developed. Let's move on to what happens to the body when it is infected by the virus. So when the virus exits the host cell, the cell would eventually disintegrate and die. Remember, the receptor for the virus is ACE2. This receptor is present all over the body. It is present in the blood vessels, the lungs, the heart, the kidneys, the gastrointestinal tract, and the biliary tract. Therefore, any of these organs may be affected during the course of the disease. This results to varied symptoms. So the patient may be asymptomatic or may present mild to severe symptoms. Common symptoms of mild infection include shortness of breath, fever, sore throat, cough, loss of sense of taste or smell, chills, and muscle pain. So the immune system would eventually recognize the pathogen and activate mechanisms to contain or eradicate it. However, as damaging as the viral infection is to the cell, the host immune response, comorbidities, and other patient-specific factors also play roles in the clinical manifestation of COVID-19. In adults, SARS-CoV-2 infection may trigger excessive immune response, which results to the release of excessive cytokines. Now, these cytokines are pro-inflammatory mediators, and cytokine storm may ensue, which results to local and systemic inflammatory responses, such as of acute respiratory distress syndrome, digestive symptoms, pneumonia, hypoxemia, myocardial injury, coagulation dysfunctions, and acute kidney failure, to name some effects. With this, the general strategies in the management of COVID-19 include bed rest, multivitamin and nutrition support for mild cases, and for moderate to severe cases, supportive treatment involving organ function support, immunomodulating, immunosuppressant, and anti-inflammatory therapies, and the use of antimicrobial agents. Some of the immunosuppressants being investigated are actually monoclonal antibodies against specific cytokines, such as adalimumab, sarilumab, and eculizumab. So, we can see that existing drugs for other diseases are being repurposed for the treatment of COVID-19. This is because of certain similarities, either on the causative agent of the disease or in their symptoms. So where do herbal medicines and complementary therapy come in? In an article by Lithgow and Middleton, which is a very recent article, they have identified 344 interventional studies focusing on both preventive strategies and treatment. Of these 344 studies, 100 studies focused on traditional Chinese medicine, including herbal medicines, acupuncture, and other forms of complementary therapy. So it is clear that aside from repurposing existing drugs for the management of this pandemic, we are also looking into existing herbal medicines, which, if not developed as drugs, can be considered as supportive treatment against the disease. There is a need for alternative and unconventional therapies because of the our situation. We have continuous increase in the number of cases and casualties. The virus is here to stay. There is the unpredictability of the development of vaccines, and there is the emergence of other strains of the virus. And so therefore, let me share to you what researchers in the Philippines are actively studying. First is coconut oil from Cocos nocifera of the family Arecaceae. Coconut oil is an edible oil that has been consumed in tropical countries as a major source of fat and has a long history of use in folk medicine. The oil is primarily composed of saturated fatty acids, particularly short and medium chain fatty acids. Lauric acid is a predominant fatty acid in the oil, with myristic, palmitic, caprylic, and capric acids in small quantities. Various studies have reported the effectiveness of coconut oil against a variety of viruses with lipid capsules. And the mechanism of antiviral action appears to be attributed to lauric acid. So when coconut is consumed, the lauric acid is converted to monolaurin. And then monolaurin solubilizes the phospholipids in the viral envelope, causing it now to disintegrate. Aside from this action on the viral coat, monolaurin is also interferes with virus assembly and viral maturation. The Philippines Department of Science and Technology is actually backing 3 studies on the use of VCO against COVID-19. One principal investigator of the use of VCO in the Philippines is Dr. Fabian Dairit of Ateneo de Manila University in partnership with Duke National University of Singapore. And the other 2 are clinical trials. Last June, clinical trials were approved by the University of the Philippines Manila Ethics Board on the use of VCO in a hospital-based study in the Philippine General Hospital in parallel to a community-based component led by the DOST Food and Nutrition Research Institute with De La Salle University Dasmariñas and 2 other government institutions. So these clinical trials would see the effect of VCO in hospitalized patients and persons under investigation for COVID-19. What they would do is to add VCO to the daily treatment regimen of patients and observe the results, comparing it to the standard of care alone. So that is about the VCO. Next is 5-leaf chase tree, Vitex negundo of the family Lamiaceae, locally known as lagundi. The use of lagundi has been reported in traditional medicine system with different parts of the plant having varied uses. In the Philippines, lagundi has been formulated as a drug for the relief of cough and bronchospasm in patients with obstructive airway disease. Studies have reported that lagundi extracts possess enzyme inhibitory activity. Examples of enzymes that are found to be inhibited by extracts from lagundi are phosphodiesterase enzymes and reverse transcriptase enzyme, which may explain its bronchodilatory effect and possible effect against HIV. The numerous activity of the extracts of lagundi may be attributed to the presence of essential oils, flavonoids, terpenoids, alkaloids, and other polyphenolic compounds. The investigation of lagundi for COVID-19 is led by the Institute of Herbal Medicines, UP Manila. The researchers were encouraged to investigate the antiviral activity of lagundi against SARS-CoV-2 by a very recent study conducted in India. In this study, the researchers used in silico techniques to examine the potential of 721 ligands and phytochemicals from 37 plant species, most of which are from Indian traditional medicine, in inhibiting protein targets. So what they did was to elucidate the structure, just like this, of the viral target proteins, like the spike protein, the proteases, and the polymerases. And then, chemical structure of ligand molecules with antiviral activity and phytochemicals were retrieved from databases. And then, using virtual screening tools, they have predicted binding sites in target proteins and the affinity of these ligand molecules to these binding sites. The idea there is that if the ligand molecule has high affinity to the target protein, it has the ability to inhibit that protein. So they have identified that phytochemicals from lagundi, particularly luteolin compounds and agnoside, exhibit significant binding affinity against the main proteases, spike protein, and other non-structural proteins. It is also exciting to see that they have also identified several food plants like Mangifera indica, Anacardium occidentale, Ocimum basilicum, and Zingiber officinale to have phytochemicals with significant affinity to viral protein targets. Last is asthma weed or snakeweed or Euphorbia fierca of the family Euphorbiaceae, locally known as tawa-tawa. Tawa-tawa is widely used in traditional systems of medicine in the treatment of a variety of diseases. It is also studied for anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, anti-tumor, antimicrobial, antithrombocytopenic, and other pharmacologic properties. In the Philippines, tawa-tawa is the most widely used medicinal plant for dengue. To prove this, animal models investigating the platelet augmentation potential of tawa-tawa have been reported and it has shown that it increases platelet counts after administration of the extract. A clinical study in Pakistan also showed that oral treatment with this plant increased the platelet and leukocyte count of dengue patients. As a possible antiviral agent, computer modeling or in silico techniques of phytochemicals found in tawa-tawa have shown affinity with dengue protease and methyltransferase. This, together with reports of in vitro tests, indicate possible antiviral activity against dengue. Further, a study on the antiviral effect of extracts of tawa-tawa against HIV show that there is a dose-dependent reverse transcriptase activity. These evidences are driving reasons for considering tawa-tawa's potential as antiviral agent against SARS-CoV-2. So we can see that dire as the situation may be, it is a very good opportunity for researchers and scientists to, flex their capacity and to innovate or discover medicines, if not for COVID, then for other existing diseases. With that, I hope that we appreciate herbal medicines more and recognize the efforts that are being done by our scientific community for our healthcare. Before I end, let me thank St. Louis University and Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta for this opportunity to share with you this information about medicinal plants in relation to COVID-19. Terima kasih, maraming salamat. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Mary Luz, for that presentation. What a timely presentation, especially now that the entire world has been dismantled by this pandemic and that a lot of researchers are looking for a promising drug of choice that could eventually treat COVID-19. We do hope that as we get to know more the causative agent, which is the SARS-CoV-2, we can eventually study these traditional medicinal plants used as a complementary medicine to be developed as one of the drug of choice that can be used to treat COVID-19. Once again, thank you, Ma'am Mary Luz. Let's now proceed to our question and answer portion. Like what Ma'am Leonie said a while ago, we'll be asking the questions from the participants to the panelists. So the order will be the same order as the presentation. Ma'am Leonie.
Okay, thank you, Sir John. Okay, so let's get started to the question and answer session. I would like to inform that some questions already answered in Q&A box by the speaker. So participant may see the answer of the question on answer tab, and some other question will be answered live here. The first question is given to Ma'am Ines from Monica Galuh from Universitas Atmajaya, Yogyakarta. The question is, as a young generation, could we contribute to ethnobotany research program in Indonesia? If yes, what are the ways we can do? Should we become a researcher and collaborate with government research institution, or could we do data collection and publication independently? Ma'am Ines?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Hi, Monique. So I think she's really has a passion on the ethnobotanical study. So some of the government also do the ethnobotanical study, especially in the health of ministry, but I think they are not so frequently do the or open it. Yeah, so some of them also do some recruitments for the young, but I think please do not limit yourself to wait for the recruitment. You can also independently do that. And I think also you can make some, you have to find the friends to do the ethnobotanical study. And by that, you can also do the survey using the surveillance or questionnaire in the market might be, or even to the community directly. And you can publish, I think, also in the some popular article or some newspaper, or you can also join some, you can like a non-government organization, such as like that. So you can find your community or their patients among the young generation. I think that's my answer.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Ines, for the answer and the explanation. The questions which given to the next speakers will be presented by Sir John Calvin.
Thank you, ma'am. This question is directed to Dr. Barcelo from John Raymond Torres of the Philippines. So the question is that some medicinal plants are sold in a concocted form with some aromatic oils included. Some say that they have special purposes like for infatuation, as other vendors claim. Are these part of the investigation?
Good afternoon, magandang hapon sa ating lahat. Thank you, Sir Torres, for your question and for your interest in our research project. I believe I answered your question in the chat box, but allow me to answer your question live. So regarding the concoctions, right, there are vendors, the old ones, they have products like concoctions. It's a mixture of different medicinal plants in a liquid solvent, probably it's water or oil. Now, in the first phase of our study, we were not able really to account for them because, like I said, it's the first phase. But that one, together with the other products, are slated for the next upcoming research project in the urban ethnobotanical medicinal research program that we have in the team. So again, we did not yet have that in this presentation, but in the succeeding research project, that one is included. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Barcelo. Let's now proceed to a question directed to Ma'am Eva from France of Indonesia. The question is that, have you ever come across indigenous practices in Cordillera that oppose standard modern healthcare? And if any, what have been done to address the issue?
Okay, so thank you, Sir JK. Yes, so there are practices that are not necessarily opposing standard medical practice, but this is their belief. So these are the beliefs of the Cordillerans, and it is actually difficult to contradict these beliefs because they have made use of this for a very long period of time. So like, let's say, making a peace with the spirits, because they believe that diseases or sickness is caused by spirits. Okay? So the spirits of their departed loved ones. Okay? So it is difficult to contradict this belief of the Cordillerans. So right now, the Cordillerans are open to the different standard medical practice, and they only make use of this traditional medicine somehow as an alternative or as a complementary practice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Eva. And now we proceed to the question to our last speaker, Ma'am Mary Luz Pengaan. So the question is from Vector Stephen Dewanga from Stikes National, Surakarta. So the question is that, how to ensure that each herbal products does not have a negative effect on the liver and kidneys? Are all tested using a mouse first? What is the average time spent on conducting clinical trials for herbs?
Good morning, Sir Vector. Thank you for your question. So regarding the herbal products, that is why we are conducting clinical trials in order to prove the efficacy as well as the safety of the drug products when they are administered to patients. So in clinical trials, an entity that is a candidate for being a drug, before being subjected to clinical trials, they should undergo preclinical tests first. So that is testing the drug candidate, in animals first. So with regard to the average time spent on conducting clinical trials for herbs, any drug candidate, the average time would take years, ideally. However, with this situation, everything is being fast-tracked, so they could shorten it to at least a year or two. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Mary Luz. So that ends the question and answer portion for today's webinar series. Ma'am Leonie.
Yes, thank you, sir. Okay, I think this is the end of our session today. Thank you for the participation and the enthusiasm from all attendees and participants. To close our webinar today, I would like to invite Sir Andre back. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here. Thank
Okay.
you, Ma'am Leonie and Sir John, for lead the discussion. And then this is a great discussion, and we will be learning a lot about the knowledge for all the speakers here. And I think we'll be continuing for the next online seminar with the new information and new knowledge, I think. Okay, thank you for all the speakers. Thank you for all the participants, also the attendees, that a lot of questions here, and thank you for respond so much question and so much information that we can share together. Okay, I think before we end of this session, the online seminar, it is great honor for us to having a closing greetings from both Dean of Faculty of Biotechnology and Dean of School of Natural Science. For the first closing greetings, for the Dean of Faculty of Technobiology, Dr. Exus Prancia Mursyanti, Master of Science. The time is yours and the screen of yours, Ma'am Santi.
Okay, thank you. The Honorable President of St. Louis University, Dean of School of Natural Sciences, SLU, Director of Office of External Relations, Media and Communication, and Alumni Affairs, SLU, Rector of Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, as well as Director of Partnership and Promotion Office. And also the honorable speakers from Faculty of Biotechnology of Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta and School of Natural Sciences SLU. And dear all of participants in this webinar. Today is the day that we could realize what we have planned recently. The day where we could conduct the first international webinar collaboration series on ethnomedicine and environmental health in COVID-19 pandemic. The day where we could share our knowledge and experience on traditional medicine as our contribution or effort to cope with COVID-19. As we know that up to now, the specific drug to treat COVID-19 patient is not yet available. And today we discuss potential of traditional medicine in the management of COVID-19 patient. After we successfully conduct the first international webinar collaboration series, I do hope that we will also successfully conduct the next webinar series, which is scheduled on the next month. And this webinar is an initial step of collaboration between Faculty of Biotechnology, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, and School of Natural Sciences of Saint Louis University, Philippines. This collaboration may be occur because of the similarities in developing natural sciences. And the selected topic in this webinar are associated with area of industrial biotechnology and environmental biotechnology, which already available in our Faculty of Biotechnology, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Now, I would like to express gratitude for commitment and support from the President of SLU, the Dean of School of Natural Sciences of SLU, Director of Office of External Relations, Media and Communication and Alumni Affairs, SLU, Director of Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, as well as Director of Partnership and Promotion Office. And also special thanks is addressed to all of speakers, moderators, participants, as well as to the committee that successfully organized this webinar. Hopefully, the collaboration between Faculty of Biotechnology, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, and School of Natural Sciences, Saint Louis University could be sustainable in the future. And I will see you again in next our webinar series. And thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Mursanti, for the great speech, for the closing greetings from Faculty of Biotechnology, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Next would be closing greetings from the Dean of School of Natural Sciences, Mrs. Anne P. Opina, Registered Medical Technologies and Master of Management in Health Services Management from Saint Louis University, Baguio City. The screen is yours, Ma'am Anne.
Okay. Good afternoon to all of us. To the President of St. Louis University, Father Gilbert B. Sales, to the Rector of Atmajaya, Yogyakarta, Indonesia, Father, Dr. Yoyo, okay, to the International Relations Officers of St. Louis University and of Atmajaya, Yogyakarta, Indonesia, to all the organizers and to everyone who have contributed to the success of this event, thank you very much. To all of you who took time to listen to this webinar, we thank you for joining us for this very, very informative webinar, a 3-series webinar entitled Ethnomedicine and Environmental Health in COVID-19 Pandemic. Today, we just heard 3 excellent speakers, or 4 excellent speakers deliver their researches on different topics that might help us at these difficult times during the pandemic caused by COVID-19. To Ma'am Ines, to Dr. Barcelo, to Ma'am Pascual, and to Ma'am Fiangaan, thank you for sharing your knowledge to all of us, that we may be able to learn and we may be able to look back and see from our natural resources that when we look at our culture and when we look at our natural resources, the answer is there. And when we use this, we can adapt and we will be able to survive. By collaborating and interacting, we learn from each other. And when we do this, for example, this collaboration with Atmajaya University, particularly the Faculty of Biotechnology, headed by Ma'am Santi or Dr. Santi, we will be able to survive. So again, thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to invite all of you to the next webinar series. The second webinar series will be on August 7, and this is entitled Environmental Health During COVID-19 Pandemic. The third webinar will be on August 19, and this is also a very exciting topic entitled Molecular and Biotechnological Advances in COVID-19 Pandemic. So without further ado, thank you very much for attending this topic. Thank you, Atmajaya, Yogyakarta, Indonesia, for being our partner in delivering and sharing the knowledge that we have gained. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ann, for your closing greetings for both of us here. Okay, no need to worry. It's still nearly the ending of the session, but for all those participants and attendees, don't forget to fill in the exit link for getting the e-certificate. So maybe Intan will be showing the exit ticket link. So maybe come up in the chat room also, and also on the YouTube streaming. Thanks God that we are sharing live streaming through Facebook, through YouTube, and also from Zoom meeting today. So this is the exit ticket for those, all the participants and all the attendees for getting the e-certificate. So please still fill in, so no need to worry. All the information will be sharing to you, and those who wants to get the PowerPoint material will be contact to our committee also. Okay, so while you are still fill in the exit ticket, as the Dean of School of Natural Science mentioned that, don't worry, we still having the online series, the online seminar information series. The second online seminar will be held on Friday, August 7, 2020, with the topic Environmental Health During COVID-19 Pandemic. And again, the third online seminar on Wednesday, August 19, 2020, with the topic Molecular and Biotechnology Advance in COVID-19 Pandemic. And this series, the both series, the second series and the third series, still collaboration between Saint Louis University and Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, especially the collaboration between the School of Natural Sciences of Saint Louis University and the Faculty of Biotechnology Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, with the great speakers, and we will be learning together, getting a lot of knowledge. Okay, thank you for all the panelists. Thank you for all the committees. Thank you for the Dean of School of Natural Science, Ms. Anne, and also the Dean of Faculty of Technobiology, Bu Santi, and also Mom Gigi. Thank you very much for collaboration, both of us here. And also thank you for all the participants, all the student staff, both SLU and UAJY. And thank you also for the lecturer, the college from the Saint Louis University, and also tenaga pendidik, Bapak Ibu dosen yang ada di Fakultas Teknobiologi Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Thank you very much. And also all the participants from around the Philippines, the Baguio and Yogyakarta also, and also around in Indonesia. I saw a lot of participants here. Terima kasih sekali, matur nuwun, dan untuk seksi exit link mungkin masih tetap akan show off. Exit ticket, yes, exit ticket still available on the screen show, or maybe you can get the exit ticket from the chat room and also from the chat on YouTube, so you can get the the e-certificate from the committee. Okay, don't worry, waiting for the next series on online seminar from collaboration between Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta and Saint Louis University. Maraming salamat po sa iyong lahat. Kaawanan tawa tayo ng Diyos. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Ingat ka palagi. Thank you for all panelists, attendees, and viewers live streaming. God bless us. Stay safe, stay healthy, long life everyone. Terima kasih untuk kita semuanya. Goodbye everyone. Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. Thank you very much. Mabuhay.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Anne.
See you again on the next online seminar.
Marami pong salamat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Anne, Ma'am Santi.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. See
Sir
you.
JK, Ma'am Rachel, Ma'am Eva, Ma'am Marie Fiangaan, Ma'am Ines, thank you very much.